Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Thursday, December the 14th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in this live go-to to take a look at the market, macro to micro, and then we take a look at the structure of the market, drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and then we create our trade plans for your day. Our trade plans are our hypotheses of how the market is going to auction based on who's in control. Therefore, we create multiple trade plans. We have two main primary plans, and then we have two alternative plans for expansion. And then we wait for the market to open up, see who's in control, and then execute the plan that best suits what the market is doing. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So yesterday, taking a look at yesterday's action. Of course, yesterday was Fed Day. We were only setting our plan up for when the news came out. It was actually pretty muted. I was surprised. I wasn't here trading on the news as I had appointments, but we did not get the move based on things getting baked in, and then with Trump speaking, we kind of counteracted that move. So our main hypothesis yesterday was open auction. In range, a move down, finding buyers, rotating up, and taking out the all-time high, and then going sideways into the news. Our secondary hypothesis was a open auction in range, a push up, making new all-time highs, and then finding responsive sellers, coming back down and coming into the news inside of the value area. And that's exactly what we got. You can see that we opened, they took out that all-time high, the week high that we talked about at the 2673 in yesterday's video, and went and made a new all-time high at 75.50. Then they rotated back down into the 67.50, went sideways, and then this is the news right here, came out. They raised by 1/4 of a point, and we spiked up, and we failed to take out the all-time high that was put in by 2 ticks. Got a Mr. Sneaky and tried to get higher, put in a double top at 75, and then that's when Trump came in and started speaking at 3 o'clock, and we rotated down into the 66.25, and then a little bit of a short squeeze on the close, and we closed at the 69.25. What was really nice is we, even though we had this push up, we had a zipper measured move that was put in just prior. Where was it? Right here. This was a zipper measured move, and it had if you measure it, and we'll just do a quick measurement so you can see it. Draw. So you had your impulse wave from the 75 down to the 70. And that gave us a primary target down here at the 60. I had it at 66.75. I probably didn't measure this perfectly, but you can see we came down here and nailed it. It was a really nice zipper measured move, and we actually had 2 of them. There was one right here too, but they didn't get down to it the first time, although they didn't violate it. This was the one, I'm sorry, this is the one that I had measured because I was not here on this one. So just draw this one right here. So your impulse wave, 75 down into the zipper. Yeah, this was one 66.75 is what I had, and you can see we hit it by two ticks. It actually gave you two shots at it, so 5.5 and 5 3/4 on those two impulse waves, and came down and hit both of them without violating it. Came close to violating the first one, but we didn't get above 75.50, the start of the impulse wave. Anyway, let's just take a look at the news today. We just had retail sales that came out. We had core retail sales came out better than expected. Continuing jobless claims came out better than expected. Initial jobless claims came out better than expected. So very good news, but we really didn't do anything. We spiked to like 71, 75, I think, and came right back down and just chopping around. In terms of news today, we've got the Bloomberg Consumer Confidence, Manufacturing PMI, Services PMI coming out in 45 minutes. 10 o'clock, we've got business inventories. And then at 12:25, we've got Canadian Governor Pelosi speaking, Bank of Canada Governor. That's our Fed Fed chair, basically, and he's coming out at 12:20. Other than that, we really don't have any other news other than headline news, of which there is all kinds. The biggest one is talk about the tax plan and supposed it going to the floor possibly on Monday. It is quad witching this week, so just remember that there are probably going to be some games being played for the quad witching, and I haven't taken a look at the maximum pain. We'll do that a little bit later. It's really not going to mean as much today as it will tomorrow in terms of where they might try to pin the market to cause maximum pain to both the put buyers and call buyers. So let's take a look at the macro. I like to start my day looking at the basic candlestick chart. Use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the strength of the trend in each time frame, starting with the monthly, working my way down to the intraday, and then any candlestick or chart patterns that I may see. Of course, we've been following this upward sloping pitchfork for quite some time. We still have not hit the upper line of the fork. We're in this upward channel. We've been in this upward channel all year long, and we still have room to expand up here. We've got good slope and separation on the monthly. The trend is very much intact. I mean, on the monthly, think about this. We can get a pullback all the way to the 25.16 area without even violating the trend. Not violating, not even challenging the trend. So very, very strong monthly. On the weekly, you can see again good slope, good separation. We've been one time framing up for 5 weeks now, and I'm sorry, 4 weeks now, and we just made a new all-time high at 26.75. We're currently still above the prior close and the prior open of last week. Last week was a bit of a doji, but it was a dragonfly doji, and just continues to show strength here. We don't even challenge the trend until we get down to the 26.09 area here. Going down to the daily, again, same story. Get a little bit of consolidation in these 3 days here, but for the most part, we are still very good slope, very good separation. Price is paralleling the 9 quite nicely. We bounced off of it down here last week and just continued to push up. Going to the intraday, you can see that we are losing some slope and separation, so we are seeing a little bit of exhaustion on the smaller time frame, but we have not come down and challenge the trend again in this session. Going to the the 30-minute, you see that we've got a bit of consolidation here. We did break below the 9 and the 20, but we've now popped right back up above. This was based on the news, of course. Bit of a symmetrical triangle here. Let's just take a look at this here. Let's see how many the maximum points I can get here. That's about right. So, we're in a consolidation. We're consolidating and coiling for another move. Of course, remember in symmetrical triangles, the closer you get to the apex, the weaker the move is going to be. And we're testing both sides of it multiple times. Going to the 5-minute. You can see that we were, in this downward trend. It wasn't really strong, but we've been trending down from that 73.50 Globex high. And we're creating a weak low here at the 2670. So 2670 is going to be a very important level for a couple different things, and we'll go over that when we get into the charting and our levels. But currently we've popped back up, and we've got the possibility of a start of a upward trend here on the 5-minute. So let's take a look at the structure. Oops. So let's just go through our context so we understand it. We're in this consolidation, this value area. They break out of the value area. They create this 5-day of balance. This was actually the holiday, and we accept price above the value here at the 2600. Then we gap up, we come up, and we create this new value area. Now the microcomposite continues to sit down below us, down at the 2628, but they go and they make a new all-time high at the 68, come back to that 28 area, pick up the late buyers, create a 3-day balance higher, accepting price higher at 2632.50, and then we gap up, break out of the value area that's at 2650.75, and then we go into this price discovery, and then we come up and we put in, again, new all-time high at the 73 area, and then yesterday we go and break it, put in a new all-time high at 75.50, and right now we've got 2-day balance at the 71 area where we're trying to hold value. And our 2-day value area, the high is 74.50, the low is the 68.50, and our VPOC, microcomposite VPOC, is 71. Again, then we've got wicks to the upside and to the downside, and there's no real strong kurtosis or value being accepted up here so far. So there's not a lot to guide us. The areas that you're going to want to pay attention to, of course, is the 70 area. I'll show that on the smaller time frame. Then the 68.50 for a target of the 67, and then this 66 is going to become our over underline for the day. And what we're looking for is a retracement to the 50% of this breakout candle, and that is, our high is 65, our low is 54.50. So 59.75 is our 50%. of the significant breakout candle. What do I mean by that? It's the largest candle on the breakout. So it's where the buyers were completely in control. Then we create the 2-day balance. If they can't hold within this 2-day balance, we're likely going to come down to the 50% of the significant breakout candle, which also happens to be the VPOC from the day that put in the prior high at 68 and then sold off and came all the way back down to balance. So taking a look at the overnight session, our overnight session is relatively balanced. You can see that we opened, we went down to that 68 area, the prior all-time high, rotated up into the 72, came back down, put in a higher low at 68 and a quarter 2 times, and then the buyers finally took control again, took it up into the 73, the prior high, all-time high, come back to the VPOC, put in a new high at 73.50. We've got a weak high on the Globex at the 73.50 with the naked VPOC. We left value above yesterday at that 74. But right now, we've got some pretty strong kurtosis around the 71, and you can see that we're creating this weak low here at a weak local low at the 70, and that's our LVN for the Globex, and that's why I'm going to be using that 70 as my over underline, and then the target will be that 69, but I'm really going to be targeting this 68 area again. So taking a look at our starting to move our levels over, our overnight high is up at 73.50, 2 ticks below the VPOC. Our overnight low is down at 68. Our prior all-time high, and then our Globex VPOC is not likely to shift because it's got good kurtosis and 71 and a quarter, and that's basically where we're trading right now, and that's right in between the mid and the VWAP from yesterday. Our naked close, of course, is down here at 69 and a quarter, and our over underline is going to be that 70 area. It's the LVN, it's the weak local low, it's our IB low, it's our value area low, and 1 tick below yesterday's open. So it is going to be our over underline. Course trade areas, that will be a trade area. Come on. I'm just going to take this off and use it, delete it, use a target line, because that way it's not sitting on top of everything. Yeah, I'm taking a long time today. All right, so that will be a trade area with the target. Of course, our naked close will be the primary target, but the overnight low is going to be, our target below that 68. You can front run it at the 68 and a quarter, that double bottom, local double bottom if you want. And then, of course, you've got 66 and a quarter. Pretty standard stuff. You've got the value area high up at 74.50 for a break towards the new all-time high. We've got a couple measured moves above, but they're big. They take us into the 27. The first one's at 27.08 and a quarter. I don't have anything else to the upside above the 75 until we get to the daily upside ATR. Our full session daily ATR is running at 1961. That's the full session 20 period average true range. And off of the low of 2668, it takes us up to 2687.75. Of course, off of the high overnight of the 7350, our daily downside ATR target is down here at 2650. 63 and a quarter, the low from the prior day, and then targeting that 59. This is the next big target below down here is the 59, and then our key line in the sand is all the way down here at that 50.75. The 50.75 being the value area high. It's hard when you get things that are on top of each other. That's why I've got it. I'm just going to put it just below it at 50.50. In fact, let's just put it on the 50 and use the even numbers. So those are our levels in terms of where we're going to look for trades. It's pretty blunt in this area between the 71 up into the 74 area. So there's really nothing to lean against right here. If I was to lean against anything, I would be looking at that 73 area, the prior all-time high. But considering it's so close to the overnight high and the naked VPOC, I'm not thinking it's an area that I could really do anything with. So I'm just leaving it, and this becomes, if I'm not in a trade here, I probably will need a pretty good setup for me to get in or enter in this area, because it's just pretty wide range of about 4.5 to 5 points that they can easily take it in either direction. So in terms of the auction, we're trying to hold the 71 micro composite right now. The over underline becomes very important because then we get into the thin part of yesterday. I just want to see if there's any naked, if there's any singles from yesterday. So let me just bring up the, there's no singles left from yesterday. I don't see a single. Next, thing down here is that 59. This is the virgin POC. The naked VPOC is 59.75, and there's nothing above, so nothing to look at there. We're currently above the Keltner center line, but we are coming down to test it. So I'm looking. The inventory, like I said, is pretty neutral. So I'm not thinking we're going to see a lot of balancing, but based on normal auction, I'm looking for an open auction in range, a push down towards this 66, possibly a false breakout, maybe a move down to the 63 area, but somewhere down here, if we don't hold 70, I'm looking for a responsive buyers to step in, rotate us up towards that 71, chop around the 71, and then push up to the 74, and possibly get a late day probe higher and put in a new all-time high, but ultimately failing and coming back to the 71 area and closing in balance again. I think there's a possibility we could get stuck in the upper side, stuck in the wick on the upside of yesterday. But we are seeing some exhaustion in the smaller time frames, even though the larger time frames are still positive. Secondary hypothesis is an open auction in range, a move up into the overnight high and the naked VPOC, push up into new all-time highs, make new all-time highs probably into the 80 area, maybe even into the 80s, and then just sort of start drifting down and coming down and closing somewhere around the 71 to 74 area. That is hypo 2. I'm not looking for a lot of expansion today because we didn't get it on a Fed day. So there's not a lot of catalyst today. If anything, I think we might see it tomorrow. Then the third hypothesis, of course, because we're still in price discovery, is an open test drive. Failure to take out the overnight low, buyers take control, come up into the 74, 75, chop around in here, and then push up and push through to the daily upside ATR target, and then start drifting down and closing somewhere in the 80s up here, and getting a bit of a continuation day. And then Hypo 4 is an open auction in range. Failure to take out the naked VPOC or put in new all-time high, leave the all-time high alone, and then rotate down into the 66 to 63 area, chop here, and then fail and come down to this 59 area, possibly a late day probe to come down and close this, but finding buyers and rotating up and closing in around the 63 to 66 area. So those are my four main hypotheses. I'm not going to do the Russell today. I just have been so distracted with everything that's going on, but I will take a quick look at gold. Gold is made a move back up into those 50s, and we seem to be putting in a basing pattern here in around the 50 area. Our 6-day microcomposite VPOC is at the 49.50 area, and we've been coming up, and I said if we base in the 50s, we're likely to start making our way back up into that 1280 with the primary target at 67.40 and the extended target and the next big target above at the composite VPOC at 1280.40. Level to watch below us right now is at that 53.70, so 53, 50, 54 area. And if we don't hold that, look for them to come back down into balance at the 49.50 area. We do not want to see them come down and get below the 40 area again, because that will probably take out this 38.30 fractal low and push us down into that next big target below, which is down at the 28s. But this is looking like a basing pattern. I think the big problem with gold right now is the lack, the attention that is being put on alternative investment, which is the Bitcoin futures and Bitcoin itself, whereas those Bitcoin buyers, that would be buying gold are buying Bitcoins. So, gold is a little bit decoupled right now. But we are seeing a nice basing pattern here and possible move up. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.